So another great episode and such a different mood. If episode one was almost like a dream, a dark fairy tale, so many flashbacks, this episode, the mood and the tone, hot, stifling, claustrophobic. You just get a sense of living in this town with nothing to do and so much leisure time, nothing but gossip and rumors and keeping up appearances, and everyone lying and everyone pretending that things are fine when they're not. You get the sense how someone clearly did, could just snap and start doing horrible things. And this town and the feeling, it's very interesting. It's not the suburbs, and you think Stepford Wives, we see a bit of that, but it's distinct from that. It's not the emptiness of the city. It's this weird kind of mix of southern old aristocracy and kind of decay. And you see this mix of the fine china and the manners and the elegance and keeping up appearances, but then also this kind of raw decay and tackiness. You see the chicken place and the gizzards, this kind of middle America kitsch, but then also the colors, these faded yellows and houses that maybe were very classy and elegant at one time, but now you look at them and it looks kind of sad. And you see everyone in the town kind of trying to keep up appearances. And we get to Camille's mom trying to get a read on her. You get the sense of someone very overbearing and always kind of fussing around her children, but also never having any real conversations with them, never really wanting to know the dark, real stuff that was going on in their lives. So you get this horrible mix of helicopter parent, like omnipresent, always around, but also completely emotionally unavailable. And when Camille, she picks up her mother's eyelash and is like rubbing it on her face, you get the sense as a child just wanting some kind of connection or affection from a mother who, again, constantly criticizing her, constantly around her, but never giving her any real, honest communication. And the cinematography, great again this episode. There's this one shot where Camille, she's driving and she gets just out of the corner of her eye this little glimpse of a figure, and then this flashback, and it's only for a second, but you see this figure and then the figure reflected in the mirror, but the reflection in the mirror is different, and the face, the mouth has all this blood over it, and it's just this very interesting little shot. And so many of these little things we see Richard, the big city detective, with his ideas about fancy theories about a serial killer, and the sheriff of the town, or the police chief, not hearing any of this fancy big city talk. He's getting the straight, the shave from the barber with the straight edge, and the barber, talking about the town folklore. The shot we get, and the sister Amma, we see her looking so different when we see her at the breakfast table, just looks like a child and so angelic, and then you see her, only hours later out with her friends, and just a completely different look, just the ability of her who, no one would think she's capable of anything, but you see how very wily, very able to change her appearance, kind of be a chameleon, fit different people's perceptions of her. And then we find out that Natalie was keeping spiders and jars in her room, and it's interesting, Gillian Flynn as an author loves exploring not just darkness, but the specific flavor of female darkness. And interesting, the guy, the police chief I was talking about, he says, "Oh, it's got to be a man that did this," and he's convinced. And it's interesting to probably, that's the one thing, I have no idea who did it. I actually haven't read the book, so I don't know what's gonna happen. My only guess, just going by Gillian Flynn, I'm gonna guess it's not a guy that did it. It's a female that did it. But if anyone has any theories and wants to, I'd be curious what people think. I don't know if it's just, I'm not usually good at guessing who it is in these shows, but I have no idea so far. We got a bunch of new characters introduced. Jackie and Camille, they kind of bond over, I think, being oddballs and kind of outside of the clickiness. So not her probably. There's not that many females on the. There's not many women really that we've gotten to know. So I have no idea who it is. Again, if anyone has any theories, definitely comment, because I'd be curious what other people are thinking. And the dynamics of the town that are starting to get explored, so interesting. That boy, he has this story about the woman in the way, but no one believes him because his mom is addicted to meth and is a factory worker. But it's just so interesting that the people that everyone looks up to and respects in this town like they slaughter pigs, and maybe that's my own bias, but like, you know, you're slaughtering pigs and then you're looking down on other people. I just think it's interesting, just the weird kind of distinctions people make, and gonna look down on one thing but not something else. And very interesting that Camille, she'll look at her mom with complete like contempt for kind of the choices she's made and how she lives, and her mom will look at her and just you see her every time she sees Camille, she is horrified, like so embarrassed by her, and just the mutual embarrassment that they both feel towards each other. And I guess it's interesting, Camille as a journalist, all about exposing darkness and exposing secrets, even embarrassing secrets about the country, about companies, and her mom, the socialite, the complete opposite, always wanting to keep up appearances and make things look pretty and perfect and not expose any kind of darkness that lurks underneath the surface. So kind of she's chosen a career that's completely at odds with her mom's whole philosophy. And then just as I say that, it's interesting that as a journalist, you're kind of using words to cause pain. And the pain is good, but pain nonetheless. When you're a journalist and you write an expose about some shameful secret, you're causing a lot of national pain. And it's interesting how she self-harms, kind of using words to cause pain on her own body in a much more literal way. So there's interesting parallel there. Last thing I'll say, her editor, you start to see very intimate, a little inappropriate relationship with them. See his wife giving a little side eye at the kind of raising her eyebrow at their relationship. So it'll be interesting to see that going forward. I don't think that this episode really gave any more answers. We just got more questions, but I thought it was great. Again, such a unique feel. True Detective season 1, everyone loves it. One of the best things about it was it had this exact same feel and this exact same ideas being explored, this kind of old Southern aristocracy and the kind of just decay and disrepair that this part of the country was falling into. Not my country, but this part of America was falling into. So it's interesting to see all the best parts of season 1 of True Detective being explored again, and I feel like we're back in this same kind of feel. But now it's female protagonist and investigator, and kind of a different flavor to that, and probably we're going to see kind of a different, distinctly female villain, which will be exciting because we don't get to see that a lot. So really excited. I was excited for this adaptation, and it's exceeded all my expectations, so it's really cool.